was a big push to figure out how to fund it, because right now it's not adequately funded. But with the transportation penny, I'm sure y'all heard about that several months back, that would have actually, we were looking at trying to expand the service and actually make it better to where it would come out here, because it does make sense for people to park their cars and ride the bus. But the bus service has to be safe, it has to be convenient, and it has to be accessible.
But it didn't pass, right?
But it didn't pass. The transportation penny didn't pass. Land conservation. Why do y'all think that land conservation is important?
Where we live on.
Exactly. So even look out here. This is beautiful. It's probably one of the more rural areas of the county. Now imagine, and I know y'all probably can't, but in 20 years it could look completely different, to where you don't have any trees and green space and stuff like that. And in the past, we didn't care about that, and we let development just go, 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 go. But when you develop land, you're messing with the ecology, the ecological systems. Your water is not going to be as clean. And so the county has been aggressively doing what we call land conservation easements, meaning where some property, a property owner can basically turn the development rights for some money over to the county, and that means that that land will never be developed. And I'm not saying that everybody should do that, but it would probably be very sad to you all after y'all come back from China and your big jobs internationally and all that other stuff, and your community doesn't look anything like it did, or there's not any trees or anything like that. So that's why land conservation is big. Economic development. Believe it or not, in our community, a lot of people want to live in our community. As much as people might talk smack about South Carolina, the Columbia area, Richland County area, we're pretty stable. We've made it better than a lot of other communities. A lot of communities in Florida and California and Texas and Arizona and Phoenix and just all over, because we've got Fort Jackson, which has an estimated $3.2 billion economic impact. Anybody's family member a professional soldier? Anybody's family member in the military? If Fort Jackson were to go away, this community would completely die. I mean, people, so that's a big deal. The University of South Carolina being here, that's a huge deal. We've got all the professors and students that come. We're the seat of state government. You have your local governments. So our community is pretty, we don't have the flashy growth that a Las Vegas does, but we're pretty steady and consistent. And I think there was a newspaper report this week that said we were one of the top 3 most desirable cities in the whole country. So that's huge. This is a great community. So that's something to really kind of think about. Unified fire agreement between the city and the county. Right now, the county pays the city to actually staff our fire stations out here. In the past, people actually, we relied on a volunteer firefighting system. But, and I really would challenge you all to talk about this, is that people don't volunteer anymore. People are like, if I am not getting paid for it, I'm not doing it. So imagine if we did not pay the city of Columbia to run our fire service, and one of your neighbor's houses caught fire, and we didn't have enough people to volunteer, or people were like, I don't want to get out of bed, I'm not doing that. In the past, we used to really be more community and neighborly, and we'd look out for each other. And I'm not saying that we don't do that, but it's far different for my generation and your generation than the way it used to be. So now we have to literally pay firefighters to be there. And that's good on one hand, but on the other hand, that's an expense that the county never had to have before, and it is very expensive, probably like $12, $13, $14 million a year. And just to give you guys an indication, just to fund the operations, not the building, the operations of a fire service every year, the fire department, it's like $800,000 a year when you talk about maintaining the equipment and paying the salaries. And so that's one of the reasons why the county wants you to think about where you move, and we care about growth, because if every little area moved out and we had to supply a sheriff's deputy or a fire station or schools, that would be huge. So there's a big push to have people kind of move to balance out growth and not have it all just here or out in the Northeast, but to have it spread out where there are already existing facilities. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the fact that transparency, that's a big old buzzword, but we've been doing it forever. I staff a citizens outreach program called Richland 101, where anybody can come in on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I was there late last night, or Thursdays, and learn about and talk to people about taxes and everything else. Additionally, and this is like one of the reasons why I love my job, because I really still get a chance to do some of the things I love. Last year I started a radio show that's on WGCV AM 620, so from 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. every Friday, my staff and I are on interviewing and talking about different stuff. Additionally, we have a television channel that I launched this year, and we're on the CW 47 at 11:30 on Sunday mornings. We have our ombudsman's office, we have our website, and we also have an online newsletter. And essentially, with regard to all of this stuff, that's just done with the other two people that are in my direct office. Now, in addition to these responsibilities, I'm in charge of the office that advocates for abused and neglected children, Richland County CASA, and then I'm also over voter registration and the election commission. And so I'm always on the go and busy, and I love it. I'm not saying there aren't some days when it drives me crazy, but I'm really glad of the choices that I made. And like I said, whatever career path you guys choose, it's never a wrong answer. I would just ask you to be open.